Hey there, everybody in the FFBE Global Facebook group, and hello to everybody who sees this video on YouTube as well. Welcome to this week's episode of Ask an Old Mog, where we try and take some questions from the Facebook group and answer them in a visual way to help people learn more about the game, learning mechanics and ways to kind of build units and prepare yourselves for doing damage. And this week we've got a question that is directly relevant to the newest content that we got this week, the 12 Types Takedown Iron Giant trial. So let's take a look at that question and see what we can learn about how to build Provoke and Evasion tanks. So the question that we got came in, looks something like this. Hey, I need some help, guys and gals. Is there a guide on how to build a full evasion tank with Provoke? I'm trying the Iron Giant in the 12 Types Takedown. Thanks, smile face emoji. Let's talk about that. So, I don't know if there's actually a guide on this, so we'll just make one as we go. We'll just kind of make it up. Very easy to do. Before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about the terms of what we're doing. So first and foremost, a full evasion tank is a unit who has the ability to cover physical attacks for the party that also has 100% chance to evade physical attacks. Now, just because they have 100% evasion does not mean they're not taking any damage, but they will be not taking very much physical damage unless the boss has an accuracy buff. They will, though, potentially be taking magical damage from AoE attacks or single target attacks and things like that. But, they'll be missing most of the physical attacks. Provoke is something that is either going to be passively or actively from skills, giving the unit in question a big target on their chest that says, please attack me, I'm standing right here. And so all single target attacks and effects will land on that as long as they are provocable. There are some effects and attacks that are not provocable because they're like specifically targeting like somebody with a specific stat or in a specific party slot or things like that. But as long as they have 100% passive provoke or active provoke, they should be the target of most effects. And so it's important to gear for those effects as well. As long as they're alive, they should be the target, unless there are like special circumstances around that fight. So that's kind of what a full evasion tank and a provoker is. So let's talk about how to build it. These are some examples of really good physical evasion gear. These are not the best examples, but I'm going to show you what the best example is in just a second. So if you're looking for like starting out, 30% from Locke's Dagger, which is a 5-star base STMR. So is Crimson Butterfly from Mastermind Zahn, Durandal from 5-star Vaughn, and Sea Dragon from 5-star Kaito all give you 30% physical evasion. You could also take 3 of those and then just slap on a 25%, like from Colorful Lay from Aloha Laswell, Ring of the Lucii from Crown Prince, not Crown Prince, just regular Noctis, and we're just Particles of Dust from Lumina, who is a unit that you can get with Star Quartz now. You could easily get to 100% just like that. You could also include things like Commando Captain's Shield from Knight Paragon Lawrence, 20-sided die from Zaz, Runaway from a trial reward, A Brother's Sentiments from Vaughn, King's Dominion Vision card from a Neovisions unit, King Bahimi, or Danger Gets the Blood Pumping from Avalanche Jesse. And you're going to get to 100% physical evasion very easily. So some combination of those items is going to get you there. We're going to show you a nice combo in just a second that also sets you up completely with this. Now you're also going to need Provoke. You can get some really nice stuff with Provoke in the game all the time right now in the Vortex. You can get the Moogle Charm for 50% passive Provoke just from doing a single level of the Ifrit Chronicle fight in the Vortex. So that's really, really good. You could also get 30% from Tulian's Gauntlet, Commando Captain's Shield from Knightly Paragon Lawrence, just like we said. Durandal also has Provoke. Moogle Plushie has Provoke, as well as the Murasame from Final Fantasy IV, and again, Danger Gets the Blood Pumping. So you could get to 100% very easily with Moogle Charm, one of the 30% options like Commando Captain's Shield, and a 20% option like Danger Gets the Blood Pumping, and there you go. You have 100% right there. So that is, again, not the most efficient way to get Provoke on your team. I'm going to show you what that is as well in just a moment. So to show you like a kind of a budget way to build a tank, we're going to take a look at this. This is an example of an evade Provoke cover tank setup on our unit here, Charlotte. I'm going to go into my units, and here she is. This is a 3-star base unit. that is leveled up to 6-star. That's why she's got this purple base. And we'll look at her equipment. So she's wearing the Durandal, which again has Well-Forged Blade. It's 30% evasion and 30% draw attacks. She's got Crimson Butterfly, which gives dual wield, which lets her wear the Durandal and the Crimson Butterfly, as well as 30% evasion and a 100% LB gauge fill rate, which is sometimes useful. She's got a Moogle Charm for 50%, like we said, draw attacks 50%. Also gives her some nice resistances. Colorful Lay for 25%, as well as some other stuff. And then she's wearing Danger Gets the Blood Pumping. And if you look at her details, click the plus sign, she has 105% physical evasion and 100% provoke. Under her special abilities, she has Grand Shelt Shield, which allows her to have a chance to cover allies from damage, which is pretty cool. So that is an example of how you could do that. It is by far not the best example of how you could create a good provoke cover tank, but there you go. A 3-star base unit could have evasion and cover, and you're good to go. Now, if you want to be really, really efficient and you've been playing the game for a while and you know, have everything, you really want to get the Dancer's Celestite Diadem of Will and just give that to somebody. That gives them 100% provoke and 20% evasion. And then all I have to do is fill out the rest. So we just need evasion now. So we'll just say sort by physical evasion, and I'll grab a couple Crimson Butterflies. All right, now we should be at 80%, and so we'll just go ahead and put some more evasion on. And there you go. Now with just those 4 items, we have 100% and 105% physical evade and 100% provoke. So we're good. We have all our ability slots open. Why do we want our ability slots open? Because we might need things like a safety bit to keep ourselves from dying to a death attack, or we might want to wear, discernment to also be immune to all the really bad status effects. And because we're going to be provoking, we might be the target of those, and so we want to make sure we're immune to bad things like death and statuses and elemental resistances and things like that. So she doesn't have any, so we might need to use our slots for, our remaining slots for elemental resistance gear, depending on the trial. But that is kind of the best way to do it, is with the Dancer's Diadem. You get that from playing Clash of Wills, which is high-level content. But that is definitely 100% the most efficient item in the game for building an evade, provoke, cover tank. Now, in last week's video, I talked about how there are some trials that you can get that have really nice rewards. And one of those is the Explosion of Needles trial, which is going to give you 2 really nice party protecting abilities. One is called Run Away, which is a 20% physical and magical evasions materia. And then 10,000 Needles, which is a party mirage 1 attack. It allows your entire party to just avoid 1 attack every turn, as long as you've used 10,000 Needles. I'm going to show you how to get this this using new units or units that have recently been upgraded. So here's what you're going to need in order to survive this trial. You're going to need, we're going to be using X-Death, and X-Death is going to be capping a chain off of Biggs and Wedge. And then otherwise, all we really need is someone to provide us with a bug and plant killer buff, a break for everybody, and then re-raise, because this particular trial does have a kind of a funny mechanic to it, which I'm going to show you now. Let's go into the Vortex and the Nemesis, Chamber of the Fallen. And here we go. It's under Explosion of Needles. Now, if you've got a strong enough X-Death friend, you will not need to worry about breaks and killer buffs and things like that. But I'm going to show you a way you can do it if you just started the game and just started pulling random units and don't even have like high EX levels on them. Okay, so the challenges here are no more than 3 items. Defeat it within 20 turns to get Run Away. Defeat it with an Esper to get 10,000 Needles. We're not going to be doing 10,000 Needles on this first one. We're mainly focusing on Run Away. But if you have the, once you get Run Away, you can come back and get 10,000 Needles a little bit later. The Esper kill missions are a little frustrating depending on what you have in your party. But here you go. We're just going to grab an X-Death friend. I don't know this person. This person did not set this X-Death up for me. What's nice about X-Death is that X-Death kind of naturally is good at magic killer for insects and plants, but also has a little bit because of this. He's wearing Bahamut, so we're not really too worried about it. The gear doesn't really matter. The killers doesn't really matter. And here's the team we're going to take. So I mentioned we've got Biggs and Wedge just to create a chain for X-Death to cap off of. These level 1 no EX level Neovisions units are going to be providing some buffs and breaks and things like that. And then this NVA, this is Lotus Mage Fina, her NVA, which you can buy, you can either get with, you know, unit of choice tickets and then level her up with EX coins and things like that. She has an AoE re-raise ability, and that's going to be useful for us. But really, all you need is a little bit of gear for your Biggs and Wedge, just, you know, 2 weapons, and then the Aurora Scarf from Original Lightning to attack 4 times with their attack to make a chain. And then X-Death is just going to cap it with a meteor. And this is going to get us Runaway, which is a nice evasion materia. Okay, to start us off, Ares was doing a little bit of auto casting there. To start us off, Ling is just going to break the boss with disarming movements. There we go. And then she's going to use Passionate Performance. Now, your Ling could potentially take too much damage and die here, so we're going to be very careful, but she should be okay. This is going to fill LB gauges for Roberta. There we go. She did not die, so she ended up with 252 health left. That's fine. Lotus Mage Fina is going to, she's going to use Shining Cheer to fill LB gauge for everybody. Again, we need Roberta to have her LB, or her LB gauge just a little bit to use one of her buffs. And then use Eternal Light. This is going to do a one-time auto revive for all allies. There we go. And then Roberta is going to use Insect Killer. That's going to help us kill these little bugs out front. Chizuru is going to just use Plant Pulverizer. She can even target the Gigantar if she wants to. Do a little bit of damage. Not that much. And then our X-Death is just going to get ready to drop a meteor. Now notice this X-Death only has 1869 MP, which is not that much compared to, you know, X-Deaths that you could reasonably grab from a friends list. This could be a whole lot better. This is going to be totally fine though. This is a very old trial, very weak trial, and we're just going to send him in there and do his thing. We're going to drop the meteor, we're going to wait for the rocks to fall, and then we're going to attack with Biggs and Wedge. They're going to die. The Gigantar is going to use Final Attack, which is going to kill us, but the re-raise brings us back. And there we go. We just got Runaway because we did it in less than 20 turns. We did it in 1 turn. So that gets you the nice Runaway materia. If you wanted to do that with to get 10,000 needles and just kill it with an Esper, you'd want to load up your party with lots of like Esper fill gear, and that way you could just drop an Esper in there somewhere instead of a break or a buff or something like that. But really, it's like, you know, not too bad to come back to that now. Wow, we gained a bunch of levels off of that trial. But there you go. So that'll get you some stuff and get you started, and hopefully that gives you a better sense of how to build a evasion and provoke tank. Now, in terms of the 12 types trial, you kind of don't have to bring a evasion provoke cover tank. There are other ways to do it, and I'm going to show you how you can do that if you've got this unit very, very easily, and then you can bring whatever team you want. It really does not matter. So if you have this unit here, Mazurka, she does not have to be at EX2. Mine just happens to be. She has a couple things going on for her. She has this ability, Emotional Slash, which gives all allies the ability to evade attacks 2 times per turn. And then she has this ability, Sealing Double-Edged Spear, which seals magic that the enemies casts. If you just use Sealing Double-Edged Spear and Emotional Slash every turn, your whole party will take no damage because they are evading all the attacks with Mirage, and then the magic spells are sealed, and she's wearing all the passive provoke stuff, and she has evasion herself. So she's got evasion and provoke. So she's soaking up all the single target stuff, and she's protecting the party with her abilities. And you can take whatever team you want and take out the 12 types trial Iron Giant very easily with Mazurka. You don't need to have a tank. You know, I brought 2 2Bs and a Tsukiko and a Sylvie, and we did it just fine. It's totally easy. Just do the Mazurka trick, okay? If you don't have a Mazurka, it does get a little trickier, but you could also use you could use a tank if you really, really wanted to. You just have to figure out a way to seal the magic. Mazurka just happens to be really good at that. And that's really all I've got for right this moment. Hopefully that's helpful, and it gives you kind of a sense of how to build a provoke, cover, evasion tank to help you out with content. Sometimes it's helpful to make your provoker not be your tank, so that you can have your the single target stuff and the magic stuff going to somebody else, while the physical stuff goes to your cover tank. Sometimes that's a nice strategy depending on what you're working with. But hopefully that discussion of the gear and abilities and how to get some of that stuff is useful, and we'll try and take a look at some new trial rewards next week to help us with whatever topic we're talking about. Until then, be good to each other, take care, and if you've got a question you want to see in next week's video, be sure to drop a comment either in this post in the Facebook group or a comment on YouTube as well, and we'll see you in that video whenever it comes. Should be next Friday. Yeah, in the meantime, I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys in the chat in the live stream on Sunday, and have a good rest of your night.